shit. What's going on, everybody? What's going on here?
F-35s, fighter jets.
You can't see it. You literally can't see it.
Even if it's right next to it, it can't see.
DMN.
Man eater. Cooking with silence. What is this? What is what? This is Left Faced, and you're here. What's up, Cooking with Silence? By the way, Cooking with Silence over on the YouTube side. I noticed something you said testing 1 2 in the last stream, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I need to remember to say hi, to say what's up, and I forgot. So, hello for this time, hello for last time. Man eater, sexy. Thank you. Decided to go extra today, which just meant like brushing my beard or something. I don't know. Oh, it is Man Eater. Man Eater is having a birthday this month, and had a fairy tale lunch today. Maybe she'll put pictures up in the Discord. Happy early birthday! What's up, Sig Fang, Architect of Sin? What's up, L? Coming in with the first. Hope everybody's doing well. I am doing a Sunday stream. Typically, what I have planned is I'm not going to be doing streams on like weekends or federal holidays, just as a way to kind of like make sure that I'm streaming when I should be. And even then, I didn't stream a lot last week. So I told myself, I'm like, you know what? Stop being a lazy bitch. Stream on Sunday, and we'll get it in this week. For sure. I appreciate y'all being here. We do have some shit lined up. We do have some stuff lined up. We're gonna see how much we could stay on track. First thing we have coming up is going to be Scarlett Letterman, aka L, new podcast, brand spanking new podcast called Sincere Subterfuge on with Scarlett Letterman, giving you a sneak peek into the life of how people. Well, I'll let them describe it. How about that? When they come on here, I'll let them describe it. That way I don't fuck up anything. By the way, before we
F-35s, fighter jets.
You can't see it. You literally can't see it.
Even if it's right next to it, it can't see.
Man out here gifting subs. Thank you, babe. I appreciate you.
F-35s, fighter jets.
We'll go ahead and lower that. That'll be coming through 5 times. What's I gonna say? Yeah, so we'll have that. We'll have L on the show, and then we're gonna get into some stuff. We're gonna get into Texas militarizing the border, literally using the Texas Army National Guard along the border. We'll see what's going on with this Eagle Pass rally in Texas. Just a whole lot of grifting going on. A little bit about woke kindergarten. There's something about woke kindergarten in the Bay Area. I don't really know a lot about it, but we're gonna learn together. I'm not gonna lie, just to taint the well a little bit. I'm smelling some bullshit. That's what I'm smelling. I'm smelling a whole lot of nothing. I'm smelling a whole lot of people who don't give a shit about education or children. But when it comes to an opportunity to jump on anything that has to do even tangentially connected with progressive or just being better in general, they're gonna jump on it. They're gonna absolutely jump on it. But there's also some other things in there that I'm like, I smell bullshit. There's something doesn't smell right. It's not passing the sniff test. Also, we're gonna look up how let's see, sounds like the whole how everyone said CRT was being taught in kindergarten through 12 and it's just history. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It wasn't even CRT, and then CRT just became anything. Now it's DEI. It's dumb. I also want to talk a little bit about how a lot of like so-called lefty programs are seem to be riding the conservative grift. I was talking about this with Ernie, the Blur Without Fear. I forgot to put the alert box back on, but El Cifer, Lo Tigre. What's up, Cypher? Thanks for the sub. I appreciate you. I was talking about this with Ernie when we were talking about the fact that, you know, it's not exactly the most profitable to run like hardline lefty content. It just isn't. You look at some of the biggest channels out there, and really they're either going to be like no politics talk allowed, everybody's right, everybody's opinion counts, or unfortunately they're going to be hate sites. They're going to be hate content, right? Typically on the right. You do have people who seem to be the exception. People like Hassan Piker, right? But his draw is going to be different. He has your very typical influencer vibe to him. His, good looking dude, young guy, does the whole gaming aspect, does like, IRL stuff, right? He's like he's your straight up like, maybe a little bit on the older side, being that he's already in his 30s. I'm a good looking dude. Thanks, bro. Thank you. But you know what I mean? You those like those 23, 24-year-old like influencer types. But typically you're if you're grifting, if you want to grift, let me put it like this. If you're trying to make money and you just want to grift, don't go leftist. Don't go hardline left, because that's not where people throw their money at. Now, why do you think that TYT and programs like the Hill are going conservative? And that's kind of what I want to show today. There's a couple clips from TYT I want to talk about, and then a longer one from the Hill, where they straight up are like pro-life. It's going to be a 2v1 regarding what's going on with pro-lifers, and this is supposedly like progressive programming. So my guess is they know where the money's at. And then we'll see what kind of time we have later. We have some other videos that I have ready. There's a video from That Dang Dad, how cops can be so cruel, and others. He's a prior cop. I was prior military law enforcement, and a veteran of 23 years. So I relate to a lot of the content out there from people who come from typically, very, very conservative, very right-wing industries, walks of life, and then bring, that experience. Either they were always lefty or they've become lefty like me, and then they add to that sort of like, okay, here's let me talk to you from my experience about what's happening. So That Dang Dad sounds like one of those types where he was a cop. He thought he could do the good thing. He's not a cop anymore, and then he speaks as a progressive. I don't know like exactly what his politics are, but I know he's on the left. What he has, what are his takeaways. Thank you for your service. I stand with our boys and servers. #America. You're welcome for my service. Before we bring Scarlett Letterman up here, and we talk about it. Oh damn! I don't think I set up the scene for the guest. That's all right. We'll do it real time. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Before we talk about that, on some of these scenes, you'll notice that I have this little guy right here. Right now, doing a sponsorship campaign with HelloFresh, only because I got an email in. I think it was a coincidence. I do think it was a coincidence. I can't. You know how they talk. I know how we talk about like Google and Facebook are listening to you. Like I'm like, I believe that. You're over here like talking to somebody or sending a text, and you're like, all of a sudden you get an ad for, oh yeah, look at a patio deck furniture, on sale, Amazon. Like what? I just texted my wife about what? I don't know if like Stream Elements and HelloFresh has got it that good. So I'm gonna chalk it up to a coincidence, but I use HelloFresh. That is look, I'm not sure. I haven't done actually the cost analysis, but I'm almost positive it's cheaper for someone like me to use HelloFresh, because Maneater works all day. She comes home and she's tired. Even though I don't have a full-time job anymore because, I'm retired and I get paid to not do shit. But this, how many of y'all can relate to a whole bunch of veggies and shit going bad in the veggie drawer? Like you buy veggies to like, I'm gonna be healthy, just to put that shit away and let it rot, because you ordered Uber Eats. HelloFresh will send you boxes and they give you recipes of things and the only thing inside that bag is exactly the amount you need for that recipe. And they have all different kinds of recipes for all different kinds of stuff. And so when I got the email and they're like, hey, here's a sponsorship opportunity, then I said, well, shit, I use it. And it's not just, and so if you were in the market for something like that and you wanted to try it out, in the panels underneath Twitch, or you can just go to the link and then use the code that pops up every now and then. It'll cycle through there. POG HF120675. If there's a way to get a custom code where it's just like use Left Face TV, then I probably didn't look far enough into it, so they just gave me one. Anyways, all right. Let's see. Let's get into it. We're gonna go ahead and here. Let me send a message so it's not a surprise. I bring up Scarlett Letterman, and I catch her in the middle of screaming at her kids, "Shut the fuck up!" No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't be like that. All right, there's your warning. If I catch you mid fart, don't blame me. I sent you a DM first.
Can you hear me meow?
Testes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Are you going to be on camera? If not, that's okay. If so, let me know.
No camera.
No camera. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to put up a little thing that's like talking to or something like that.
Yeah, I thought the little logo would come up with my name, but whatever.
That's okay.
Whatever.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Here, there you are. But you are. So which? What do they call them? Alters? I don't consider it ableist because I don't have any respect for people who do the. Never mind. That gets into a whole different thing. But who am I speaking with? Am I speaking with Elle or Scarlett Letterman?
Scarlett, I guess. I mean, like they're the same fucking person. But I would like. I guess for this, it's more Scarlett than it is Elle.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be seeming like I'm distracted, only because I'm gonna get the whole like talking to text up. But while I do that, talk to me about first before you talk to me about your trip to the border and how that went. Pitch your podcast. Like what is it, and what are the plans? What are you gonna be talking about? All that jazz.
It's basically about the disaster that is healthcare in the United States. I work in healthcare in corporate pharmacy. I do what's called 340B. It's a government program that allows hospitals who help a higher number of indigent patients, so like underinsured, not insured, Medicaid, Medicare, get those hospitals who are nonprofit get outpatient medications at a reduced rate to do things for their hospital.
Okay.
So that is either, like one thing we've done is fund a whole new mammography center at one of our locations and stuff like that. So they turn around and use that money that they save, do more with the community.
Okay.
And expand their services, yada yada. So my podcast is actually more so about just healthcare in general and the complexities of bullshit, mainly the greed in it, and how we shouldn't have greed, of course, in healthcare, because it is one area that we really shouldn't capitalize on.
Right.
But we do anyways.
Right. So you already have one episode out.
Yeah, and so that episode is about how pharmaceutical companies are killing you, but not the way that your crazy uncle thinks.
Right.
And the first episode is it's a short 10 minutes. It's basically talks about 3 different things, one being a cancer drug shortage that pharmaceutical companies, they don't have to do anything to alleviate shortages. So when a life-saving medication goes on shortage, that means that a lot of times those doctors and stuff have to use algorithms to decide who's going to live and who's going to die.
Okay.
And then talk about the insulin crisis, where insulin's been around for 100 years, but we still jack it up to an insane amount cost, and people can't get it unless you have insurance, and we all know that that's very hard in today's economy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So yeah, I remember hearing listening to it, and it's definitely good. It's definitely good. Have you done podcasting before?
No.
Okay.
I had never done a podcast before doing that. I've watched like how they used to do those, back in the day, and they still do it a lot too, but they have like those funny where they like make clapping noises, or like they joke about in Monty Python with the coconuts sounding like horse hooves and stuff like that, where so like I used some of that in the podcast a little bit. Like I did I have like a big jewelry armoire that sits next to my desk, and I closed the door and recorded it. And stuff. So yeah, I kind of drew, I guess you could say, inspiration from watching those people that like use the funny like tubes and stuff like that to make sound effects, to make my own sound effects.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I mean, we could figure this out later, but I'm looking at Sincere Subterfuge. Respawn. Thank
This
you.
episode of Social. Thanks for being on Scarlet.
Scarlet, that's your name now, Scarlet. Thank you, Reed, for the sub, and welcome from the down under. Hello.
Thanks, Ree. I really appreciate that.
Sincere Subterfuge is. I'm looking for it on Spotify. That's where I listen to it, but I don't see the page up. Is it still up?
It should be. I didn't get anything saying it was down. Now they took my YouTube down for a bit. I had to fight and get that back. I think the Chuds got a hold of it for a
really?
second there.
Did they say why?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like spam and something else.
Oh wow.
And I was like, yeah, bro, no, there's nothing in there. Shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah. Damn, already.
Yeah, dude. Well, I think it's because I put that that video of me singing, and they got all butthurt because I had said Free Palestine.
Let's see, episode 1, OBS project. Yeah, I don't know. You might want to take a look because I don't see it on Spotify anymore. But anyways,
Okay,
we'll make sure it's up, and we'll get the link when it's good to go.
The
Check
YouTube
out.
is up though, so you can go
Oh,
ahead and
YouTube.
take
That's
that
right.
if you
That's
want.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Let's look for that while you talk. But you also went to recently. You went to the border outside of San Diego.
Yes.
How'd that go? What's all that about?
So I rented a vehicle and went and stayed at a campground for 2 nights, and the second day so I got there in the evening. The day that next full day I went to a place that I'm not going to name because it's well, I mean, we'll talk about it because actually I'll show you Twitter where they got all crazy. But it was near Yucumba Springs.
Yeah.
And so I stayed out there, and we went out and made a whole bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and fed migrants crossing the border.
That's awesome.
There were 3 different, so they give them a bottle of water, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and a like a fruit of some kind, like banana, whatever. And then the other thing that they do is they hand out these like pamphlets that tell you like in different languages, and it tells you kind of like what to expect to happen kind of from this point forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it also talks about like, hey, the border patrol will lie to you. And so yeah, we handed that out. And so the first camp that we went to, basically there's about 30 people there. It was mainly Turkish and Chinese gentlemen. So what had happened is they had been there for 16 hours. They had got there in the middle of the night, and we got there at probably like 10 in the morning. And they hadn't ate for 24 hours, and Border Patrol had come and picked up a whole bunch of other people, but they always pick up, like, of course, women and children first.
Yeah.
So they were like the last ones left out there, and
Turkish and Chinese immigrants trying to cross the border.
Correct. No, they had crossed the border. They were in America.
Were they seeking asylum or?
Yes, everybody who is crossing the border is seeking asylum in some fashion or another.
Oh wow. Okay, so this is definitely more than just like Central America, South America, Mexico. This is people from all over the world trying to get through.
So actually, there was maybe at that spot there was only maybe 2 people that were from South America, maybe. And then when the second spot that we went to that had over 250 people, we counted, it was like 245, and then a bunch of other people showed up too. So it was like well over 250, and they were maybe a third was South American. In some, there was a group of Colombian gentlemen, and there was one dude that spoke fluent Spanish, so he was able to converse with them, and he kind of told them, hey, what was going to happen and stuff like that. And he's like, the Border Patrol are not nice. They're not going to be nice. They're going to make you strip down to everything except 2 layers of clothing. One of those layers is your bra and underwear. And after that, you have to wait until everybody else is stripped down and checked as well, and then they will load everybody. And so if like you've got like a group of 100 people, you're gonna be standing out there. And I mean, yeah, I get it's Southern California, but you also gotta understand it's like the middle of the desert, and it's like 50 fucking degrees. Okay,
right.
So these people are having to stand in 50-degree weather, waiting for the Border Patrol to get off their fucking high horse and their power trip and load them into the vehicle.
Damn. You posted pictures, didn't you?
I posted 1 or 2. I posted, I think, the one where I took that's a gate.
Mordor,
Yeah, there's a gate that is at the wall, and I posted that, and I said, welcome to Mordor.
Didn't you? But I'm looking for the other ones too. Where is that at?
I think I sent those to you in messaging. I don't think I posted them, but you can pull them up if you want. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I wanted just to show people. Well, yeah, because we'll post this one too. Hold on. So this was actually a oh no, not that one. Here we go. This is obviously the Welcome to Mordor is your edit.
Yeah.
But,
no, that is an actual picture I took of
yeah.
the wall, the fucking wall.
Yeah.
And that is a gate. Of course, that's our side of it, the United States side of it. So
Right.
it's of course locked on our side. And when they had the recent floods that had came through, that was one of the gates that a lot of people were actually standing at, asking to be let in, and they can't let them, like the volunteers, they don't have keys or anything like that, or they can't let them in.
Yeah. So what kind of what were some takeaways down there regarding like what you were doing? Like what were some of like the most like the stories, because I'm sure that, so while you live in not the San Diego area, you had an
I live
opportunity
in Southern Colorado, not
Right.
Southern California.
so, but I'm sure you met a lot of people there who probably do this regularly, right? That are part of the actual program. What are some of the things that you heard, like stories from people, et cetera, et cetera?
So the gentleman that does that I had met up with, that goes to these spots and stuff like that, I guess one of his family members helped start Food Not Bombs.
Okay.
And so he's he's been all over the world and has spent time in a lot of these countries. So he doesn't speak any other languages really, but he just was very well organized, because he had, helped. He's been doing this a long time.
The worst thing you can do is rush something and then take
The lady that comes in that helps make sandwiches like every day. We were joking that she was the sandwich artist, because she literally comes in every day and makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And they do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because they do have a lot of Indian people that come through.
So they gotta make
And
a
of course-
vegetarian.
Yep, they gotta make a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So, and also, like peanut butter, you got that sugar rush from the boost, from the jelly. You have the peanut butter that's
Protein.
gonna help.
Yeah.
Help.
The
I mean,
salts,
for what it is, and the amount of money it is, and and how they can store it and everything like that. It's wonderful. So what you're seeing here is, so that's like the setup that we were doing.
That's awesome.
And
That's
then the back picture is one of the sites, and the worst people out there were the Border Patrol.
So that's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask next. So you guys are out there specifically, to provide aid to people trying to seek asylum, for migrant people coming across the border. So here's some water, here's some food, right, stuff like that. But
So
I
we
do
saw-
know there are a lot of.
I'm-
I do know those places where that's not exactly legal, right? Like, did you guys have to do anything special? Did you guys get harassed or what?
No, so they do this they do this like 3 times a day, every day.
Oh wow.
So this isn't like anything new to them. Actually, the Border Patrol acted like we didn't even exist, mostly. I mean, we waved on the way out because, you don't want to start shit with people who have to be around these people all the time.
100%.
It doesn't, And we talked a bit about that too. Like, we're like, it's easier just to wave and say bye and whatever than it is to start shit, of course. But they didn't I swear to God, I thought they were gonna search us or, whatever when we left. No, they didn't. But there was babies out there. There was 3 babies that came across, all of them under a year.
Oh, that's sad.
And so they gave them coats and gloves and hats. And then there's little kids too that were
interesting. Not my name.
yeah.
I'm never notified. I'm sorry. Do you have the little bell? The bell thingy thing? I don't know. I don't know how this I don't know how it's supposed to work. I have heard that a lot though. That a lot of people are not notified whenever this is coming on. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to get out there and see a lot of this stuff, because I do think it's important, because, you know, it's kind of like as I've gotten more involved with, for example, like the Palestinian stuff. You know, you can read news, you can have your principles, you can know where you stand on it. But really getting out there and hearing people talk about their experiences, especially when you have, you know, Palestinian Americans that are here with family over there, you know, people who have lost family, people who have friends that lived in Gaza and they'll never hear from them again. You know, there's people that they don't even know if they're alive or not. You know, being able to like actually be, without obviously me being able to go to Israel or Gaza, that's interesting. I mean, it's valuable to be able to see that firsthand. You obviously are somebody who you know is empathetic towards, you know, is on the left side of things when it comes to immigration and how we're treating people. But it had to have been, even still, you know, it's not like you were on the right and now you're on the left. You were always sympathetic about this, you know, before this trip, I mean, but even then, just going there to see the border, to see the people, to see the children, had to have been eye-opening, right?
It's like one of those days where you feel everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like all day long, okay? Because that part of Southern California was very beautiful, okay? You know, it's got like these rolling kind of deserty hills and stuff like that, and rocks and whatnot. So it's really, really beautiful out there. And then all of a sudden you see this fucking wall that looks like literally something out of a prop from fucking a James Cameron film or some shit.
Right.
And you are like, it's so jarring, and
Right.
it's hideous.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I was gonna tell you about, yeah, and it's like this fucking like rust colored bullshit, and it's that way all the way across. Like it's this nasty color, and I was like, you know, it does nothing for the landscape. It's just an eyesore.
Yeah. It's also pretty damaging to the environment. You know, the wildlife that can't now can't get through. Interrupts migratory patterns. Not that they give a shit about any of that, but this whole
none of that
is
shit matters.
Right,
of course.
Right.
Well, if they don't give a fuck about humans, they sure as shit don't give a shit about animals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right.
So there was a Turkish gentleman that spoke English that we spoke to, who was from Istanbul. And he came because his dad was in prison. He was probably in his 20s, I'd say. So like, and I would say early 20s, not like, you know, and he looked middle class, dude. He had on like a wool jacket. He was carrying like, you know, like a suitcase and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so the gentleman asked him, hey, how much did you pay to get here? And he's like, $11,000.
God damn.
But it's not a thing about making it accurate.
That's interesting, because it's like,
it's middle class people, dude. We're not these are not like,
It's not about getting.
it's the weirdest thing ever. This isn't like, I mean, yes, there are some poor people that are coming across, but like a lot of what I saw was like this weird, like middle class, and they said that they've been seeing that for a while, is like a middle class migration.
Which is kind of goes against the whole like, oh, they're just coming here for, like, these are people entering, trying to get into the United States because our immigration system is broken, because we favor, you know, globally north white countries. We favor people that are going to, you know, that are elites in their own areas, right? And yet we have people that are from places like Turkey and India that are like, hey, I just want to become a citizen. And then they're like, no.
His dad is imprisoned for his religion, and he knew that he was going to be next.
In Turkey?
And so, yes.
Well,
that is what he said.
For being what, Christian?
I believe so, yes.
It's an accident,
Interesting.
that's an
Interesting.
error that feels
Oh.
good, then you leave it in.
That's funny.
So he left, and the people that he was with was a family.
you
So it
want
was
those.
him.
Yeah.
No, I think he was middle class. Like, I think his dad was, like, if I remember correctly, his dad, like, owned a business type thing and then got imprisoned
Yeah.
for,
That's something I see. Like you definitely hear both of that, right? You hear people who have been like save up their whole lives to pay people to bring across the border, but you also hear about people, and I see this a lot, like with South Asians, where they're whole ass doctors and lawyers, and they have money, but because they don't come from the right country, they're not allowed to come here. And if they want to reconnect with their families, they come here, and then their medical degree is not good anymore, and they have to get
Right.
jobs where they can, but they weren't poor in their own countries.
well, yeah, because you got to think, in Turkey, you probably have to have a certain amount of status just to want to learn English. Like, why else would you want to,
Yeah, I mean they're in the EU now. I think that's pretty standard across most of Europe. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, the
because a lot of them didn't speak English,
right.
or at least I shouldn't say I don't know if they spoke English or not. They could have been feigning not speaking it, not be draw attention to themselves, because they don't know who we are either.
Yeah.
That's something you have to remember. So they're gonna have their guard up too, even though
Yeah.
we don't care.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on to talk about it. What did you want to make sure that people knew about your experience, about what you learned, or what everything that was coming on before we close this up?
It's like anything. Just these are people, man. Imagine if you were living in another country and having the same problems these people were having. What would you do?
What are some places what are some ways that people can help? Like, you're in Colorado, you don't live there, you can't go there all the time. What are some other ways that people can help? That sort of, did the organization down there provide any means, or is there a way to donate to these people? What's the organization's name?
There's quite a few of them. Like, I know, one of them is that works down there is the Free Shit Collective for San Diego. There's I know that James Stout, he posts a lot of different ones. There's I think the Border Aid was also another one. So there's quite a few that are on Twitter.
Yeah. That
you can Venmo or Cash App or whatever, or I think the best thing that you honestly could do where you're at, wise, is just anytime you hear somebody talking shit about the border, stand up and be like, it's not all like that.
Right.
I think that's really the best thing you can do if you're not there, or if you're not able to donate or go there,
Right. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, that's Scarlet Letterman. You'll know them better as L on the Discord. The pinned link is to brand new podcast, Sincere Subterfuge. They will be using their personal experience and personal knowledge in the industry to let you know some inside baseball regarding just how fucked up. Everybody knows that the pharmaceutical industry is fucked, but you may not know just how fucked up until after you start listening to this podcast. Head over there. Again, the link is in there. Give it a sub. Check out the first episode. Unlike my 3-4 hour streams, it looks like their episodes are going to be more bite-sized, more digestible, I should say.
Yeah, probably 20 to 30 minutes is what I'm gonna shoot for. The
Yeah,
first one was my
smart.
pilot, so it's around 10. The next episode I'll give you a sneak preview is gonna be kind of like my journey of getting my fallopian tubes removed and how hard it was for me to
Okay, I
do that
remember,
working
yeah.
for a Catholic organization.
Okay, good.
So,
Can't wait to see the second episode. And thanks for coming on.
So basically, it's gonna be how the United States hates uteruses, uteri.
Uteri, I think it is. Yeah, that's right. All right, L. Take care. I'll see you in the chat.
Yep. Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.
Well, that's awesome. I definitely, those are one of the kinds of things that I tell people. I mean, not everybody has all the. There's always going to be like limited resources. There's going to be limited resources, limited time, but sometimes it's all you need. Is to get out there. There's going to be opportunities out there that are free, opportunities that take nothing more than time. Look, getting my ass out of the house is for some reason still a struggle. But if you can, make sure that you get out there, because honestly, voting is only going to get you so far. We cannot trust the people in power to really do anything about it. So I mean, I think you should vote. I think you should get out there. But sometimes you got to put your own feet on the ground and try to get some stuff done, because without volunteers, a lot of this all just falls apart, because there's definitely no money in it. That's for damn sure. Maneater worked for a nonprofit in in Hawaii and in Washington, and let's just say nobody was getting rich working at a nonprofit as a mental health professional, because our country just does not prioritize that. It just doesn't. And so a lot of times these sort of organizations, they will live or die based off of the amount of volunteers that you have. So make sure that you are, if you're doing any sort of self-reflection and you're deciding, like, am I doing enough? What can I do? There's that helplessness, that exasperation, especially when we talk about Palestine, right? There's always like this, like, bro, nothing. The entire world is for Palestine. 99% of the EU is for Palestine, and yet just because we have like 3 countries, including the U.S., is like, what can you do? Nothing's happening. Well, you can do something. Go Google the starfish, throwing starfish back into the ocean parable, and realize that, hey, I mean, it matters to that one. You know what I mean? Scarlett Letterman, L did not change anything about the horrors of our immigration process, but that day, people got fed because of the volunteers that showed up to do it. So, you forgot to talk about the death threats. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's the exciting shit. I was waiting to see, like, I wanted to hear your life on the line, L. All right, what do we got coming up next? Oh shit. All right, I don't take this motherfucking shit off here. Here we go. Boop, 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 boop. This happened the next day. Let me see here. Boop. Our photographer says volunteer groups. Okay, so this was Yacumba, California, just witnessed 2 human smuggling SUVs drop off groups of illegal immigrants who then trot around the border wall and enter the U.S. People from China, Turkey, and India in this group. This is in eastern San Diego County, and there was only 1 single border patrol agent in the area. Our photographer says volunteer groups are visiting camps of illegal immigrants in the area who are waiting to be picked up by Border Patrol and are handing out these "Welcome to USA" flyers, which advise them of next steps and claim Border Patrol agents lie and manipulate people. So, just off of the tone of this this tweet, we're gonna go ahead and say that Bell Malujan belongs in the bio waste channel, the Discord. What a whole piece of shit. In you know, if I'm reading this correctly, look how. Just by the way, I want you to remember the hundreds of millions and millions of dollars being poured onto building a wall, and this is the effectiveness of a physical barrier. There are places you cannot build unless you're just gonna fucking dynamite an entire trench along the entire southern border. It is not practical. It is security theater. That's what it is. It is security theater based off of fear and hate. But that's besides the point. Here is a picture of the here. Let's do this. Some important information: while the government detains you outside without providing you food, water, medical care, or shelter, if you see an urgent medical issue, let volunteers or Border Patrol know immediately. You are located at one of these camps. Please respect the land, pick up trash. We don't know how long you'll be here. Volunteers will be providing food and water, basic medical care twice a day. When you leave here, you'll likely be taken to a local processing center. We don't know where or how long. Be sure to shut off your phone before getting on the bus to leave the phone. To leave the camp. If you're traveling with family members, you need to tell Border Patrol who you're traveling with to reduce the chances that you're separated. So basically, it's a bunch of good information for people. It reminds me of an organization here in Georgia called MESE, Migrant Equity Southeast, that this is exactly the sort of work that they do, where they're just, and people get mad at them. You know, election officials will get mad at them. I volunteered with them a few times. And basically it's like, here are your rights. This is the type of shit. This is how conservatives will tell on themselves. You're literally telling people their rights. That's it. You're not trying to be like, hey, and here's how you lie, and here's how you get away with breaking the law. Here's how you smuggle in, bioweapons up your asshole. Like, nope. It's just like, here is the law. Here are your rights. And these motherfuckers will get mad at you for that. Literally just telling them what is already the law, and they get so mad. So that's awesome. Let's check out what I'm sure are totally normal. Let's see. Here's a version for illegal immigrants from China, and of course they're gonna add that because scary. Ooh, scary. China. Oh. Have you guys not seen Leave the World Behind? Have you learned nothing? How often are these drop-offs happening in San Diego County? Curious as a lifelong resident who was born and raised in SD. Multiple times a day, every day. You know it's weird when migrants have more drip than 80% of Americans. This is guy with watch. Guy with pants, guy with shoes. Because we all know 80% of America cannot afford a watch, pants, or shoes. Why didn't the wall stop them? Good question. Dude's got white pants on with no dirt on them. Tell me how that works in the desert. It's almost like they arrived in vehicles. It's like they walked to a car and drove to a nearby point and then walked to the fence. Doesn't look like they walked thousands of miles to me. Who said they did? Oh, that's right. The cartel is paid to pick them up at the Mexicali airport and drive them like Uber to the spot. That's actually probably true. That's actually probably true. I don't know about them being cartel, but there are definitely people who are paid coyotes that'll do that, and some of them are pieces of shit. Especially if you end up not having the money. There's a lot of people that are. I remember a story where the coyotes dropped off a semi trailer and just left. Who knows why? I mean, maybe they saw law enforcement and they had to get the fuck out of there, and they said fuck it, and all those people just fucking died inside that trailer because they couldn't get out. It's almost like we need a better way for people to seek asylum, which is a legal process, and so that people don't have to rely on coyotes. All right, that shit is wild. What was going on with the oh no, brown person commits crime? Scary. It's scary. Illegal immigrant charged with killing mother and son. It's really cool. I'm really glad Americans don't do things like chop their own dad's head off, and then do a rant with the fathers beheaded, talking about the woke mind virus. That's cool. That never happens. The Biden administration is a disgrace to America, because when under Trump, this was not happening. Nobody crossed the border under Trump's rule. Go up to the paper. Up more. So this is the top. Wrong paper. Well, just send me a link. No, that doesn't work with the delay. Stop there. Okay. You have to guess about 8 seconds out where I'm gonna be and then type stop. Send me a link to what you want me to see. Check this shit out. Well, while we do that, check this out. Wait, what's going on here? Oh.
Around the country, conveying all the way to Texas's Eagle Pass area to speak out against illegal immigration and demand stricter border security. Our own Jason Allen, he is there on this evening with more on the message those protest attendees want heard.
This rally has extended well into the evening. There have been speeches and songs and at times what sounded like sermons, and it has been peaceful with people telling me they...
As what it sounds like sermons? No, it is a grift. It is a grift of, and you know what? I'm here for it. They came out and they're asking for donations. They're getting all kinds of money. These pastors are out there baptizing people, holding whole ass sermons, and talking about things like the illegal immigrants have raided a food pantry, so we need to raise money for this food pantry so that they can give it to people who need it. Because if there's one thing that I know Christ, their Lord and Savior, would have wanted, was to let those motherfucking immigrants die of thirst and hunger. You want to eat, you better stay home. You come here, prepare to die. Prepare to die in the desert. That's Christ. That's Christ-like right there. How dare you? How dare you take free food for the needy?
Feel that they're all in agreement that something has to be done on Texas' southern border.
A small but fervent group of people ended their 5-day convoy across the country.
It's a cult. It's absolutely a cult. This is a cult. This shit is fucking wild.
With a rally to take the border back in South Texas.
I think we all as a nation want this to end, both Democrats and Republicans.
The gathering was at times part Trump rally and also part religious revival, with demonstrators wanting more than just a policy change.
We need God to fix this because we can't fix this.
We don't know who these people are. They could be our enemies.
The rally
That's Forever Surf is also L. Forever Surf, L, Scarlett Letterman, all the same person. Dun dun dun. Who's funding this? Your mom. You know what's funny is it's not funny. And it's also not surprising. It's old news, but I feel like Elon Musk is completely and going like even more on the whole white supremacy bit. He commented on Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok literally just posted a photo, a headline saying, it was a black woman, a black houseless person who killed somebody in their car. Tragic homicide. It's not okay. However, what do you think somebody like Libs of TikTok was trying to say? You know, and then of course all the comments would just say the quiet part out loud for Libs of TikTok. That way, Libs of TikTok doesn't have to like own anything. It's like, see what black people are really doing, and tell me why Elon Musk replies on this random crime post of black person kills white person. Elon Musk posts, I will donate money to their family. Oh man, I know she was that good Christian because I looked over her profile. Typical right-wing garbage. Exactly. They're Christians. They're Christians only insofar as that gives them a spiritual pass to be a hateful piece of shit. Is this the video? Is this what we're supposed to watch? L? What's going on? Oh, okay. It's in the wrong browser anyway. Hold on. Just look at the comments. I do want to see this video though. Hold on. The money. Follow the money. Just like with all foreign wars, we are taxpayer. Same thing. Yeah. They are never well. They are never well.
I'm on day 6. I'm walking from Hillsville, Virginia to Texas, and now I'm going to cross the Rio Grande and get to Mexico and give up my United States citizenship to break back into America so that I don't have to pay taxes and get free housing and free all kind of shit. But listen, I got to start working on my Spanglish. Amigo. Okay, everybody, I'm on day 6.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to follow this bitch. I want to see how this works out for him. He's walking from wherever he's at all the way to the border to renounce his citizenship. Okay. I stepped away. It may not be in the know, but what the fuck? That old man slip and fall in the missile strike, buddy. Oh man, Jesus. Hold on, let's finish this up.
Private ranch about 20 miles north of Eagle Pass, where there is still a standoff between federal and Texas authorities over border control.
You are the tip of a spear of a movement that is spreading across America.
Collin County Representative Keith Self spoke to the crowd, telling them public demonstration of dissatisfaction was necessary if things are going to change.
We need the American people to start voicing their frustration. I hear it all the time. My colleagues in Congress hear it all the time. The American people are so frustrated with the federal government, but they got to start speaking out.
At the rally, people say they had to be here to send a message.
If we stay at home and sit on our...
My favorite part about these people is, are these the same people that whenever we look at a like a BLM rally, they're like, Don't you have a job? Sorry, I don't have time to be out there because I got a job. Like, what? Do these people have not jobs? Are these all retirement age people who have so little worth in their life, like so little, like they need something, right? They need something to make themselves feel better. And so they come out and this is what they do. They sit there, they imagine a crisis. They imagine they have these conspiracy theories and these fears in their own mind, and they go, I'm making a difference. By what? You know, by what? Having a prayer circle, baptizing people. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. You know what you're doing? You're grifting. All those shops out there selling all those flags, all those T-shirts, asking for donations, grifted. Good. I hope. I hope. How do you feel about a man who has a 10-minute long compilation of mumbling and being confused involving the U.S. and multiple wars in the Middle East? I feel the same way about a man who has a 10-minute long compilation of mumbling and being confused involving the U.S. and being confused. I'm assuming there's a period in there somewhere. And involving the U.S. in multiple wars in the Middle East. I feel the same way as I do about a orange-faced idiot mumbling, being confused, pretending to be confused on purpose. As you know, that's his words. Sometimes I pretend to be confused, and they run with it. Yeah, I think they're both idiots. And I think to think that Trump is somehow sharper than Biden is laughable, and it just means that you're not paying attention. I will give Trump this. I'm pretty sure he's alive. I'm not fully convinced Biden is alive. Like, it could be a Weekend at Bernie's situation with Biden. That is a possibility. Why did he come from Arizona? Doesn't he have his own border? Well, because hell, it's because Texas is doing it right. Because there's no big old party in Arizona. There's a party out here. This is where he could feel like somebody.
But we're going to get mowed over. This country will be gone.
Tomorrow, the focus moves back down south to Eagle Pass. That's where as many as 14 Republican governors are expected to join Governor Greg Abbott to show their support for his stance on border security.
His support for his stance. You know what it is? It's support. It's a support for utilizing this fake crisis, absolutely fake crisis, to ensure your reelection. That's what it is. To make sure that the people are so afraid that they're gonna reelect you. That's what it is. So the Texas National Guard. Let me tell y'all something about the Texas. I'm gonna be a little bit insulting about the Texas National Guard. Well, the National Guard in general. Here is the majority of the National Guard, and reservists. Right. The active duty will call the National Guard weekend warriors. There's something about the National Guard. There are plenty of full-time National Guard members and reservists, right? But by and large, the National Guard is made up of people who are, it's a weekend warrior deal, and they're usually doing it for like college, the sort of benefits that come with it. It's why I joined the military. It's why a lot of people join the military. Very, very few people are joining the military out of this altruistic, patriotism, whatever the fuck, right? Have I ever killed anybody in combat? I have, yes. But the thing about this is what I laugh is the way that these boat teams are made up. What makes you better as a killer than Trump? Well, I don't. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So it's not something I'm proud of. And what a person, says and does today is more important. People make mistakes. No. Are you telling me that Trump has made mistakes and now he's like trying to become a better person and et cetera, et cetera? Because if that's the case, man, link me to some sources because I'm down. Like, is he running as an independent? Is he gonna be like on the left now or something? Does he go, man, I said all this shit and I shouldn't have. If you followed me for any amount of time, like, there's probably very little about my past that I haven't talked about openly, and have talked about how they were not good things. I've talked about it plenty. No, it's not anything that I'm proud of. But regarding the National Guard, the amount of money put into, right? These are people who argue against feeding children, who argue against free lunches, who argue against any sort of social safety net. Okay, if you I just saw. Okay. If you can look at your state's social programs, social networks, man-eater's out here. Man-eater's like, no, sirree Bobski. Yeah, if you're gonna be out there and say like, and argue against free lunches or social safety nets, but you're okay with the millions of dollars that it takes to activate your state's National Guard, right? These are people who are paid for a weekend a month. It's called drill duty. And now they're getting paid full time. They're getting paid full time with full-time benefits, right? Like, these people that are now working the border are being paid the same amount of money as an active duty person with BAH, BAS, full-time pay. And because the president didn't activate them, guess where that money comes from? Guess who their commander-in-chief is? Their commander-in-chief is Governor Greg Abbott. And the people who are paying for a militarized border on Texas are the Texas taxpayer. This is not coming out of federal funds here. And do you think any of these dumb bitches give a damn about the amount of money that is going to be coming out of their pockets, out of the state's coffers to pay them? And these are the same people who's going to be like, oh, you got money for this, but you can't pay for the veterans and the homeless veterans, and you know, I'm out here working 9 to 5, but you're giving free money to that. Oh, well, maybe if you weren't flying people seeking asylum across the world to try to make political points, maybe if you weren't activating your state's National Guard, you would have money for to be taking care of the things you paid. You know, I don't know, like maybe your power system, maybe your power grid, right? Something like that. I don't know.
Sergeant De Santiago. I'm with Task Force Eagle boat team. So what we do on a normal basis, we scout the area, right? We find any crossing points, any individuals that, you know, they kind of set themselves up.
I'm gonna be a translator for y'all, okay? I'm gonna let you know that there is no military person that is allowed to talk to the press or do any kind of video like this as a member of the military, right? He could do this if he was like in civilian clothes and he was like just talking for himself. But he's introducing himself as Sergeant so-and-so in uniform with his weapon, whatever, right? Everything he says has been rehearsed, and it is exactly what he's allowed to say by Public Affairs, PA. Public Affairs will say, hey, you're going to do this. This is what you need to say. This is what you're allowed to say. If they try to ask you to just say, I'm not allowed to talk about that, or I'm not authorized to talk about that, you can refer back to the Public Affairs. This is what they do. So I'm gonna show you a very specific part that I find funny at best.
On the shore, begin to cross. We are the first point of contact to deter and to negate that cross. After that, if they take it upon themselves and continue into the water, then our secondary function is to then become a rescue team in case they end up getting swept into the water.
That's it right there. let me tell you something. That comment is a curated statement by the PA's office, signed off by their commanders for public image purposes, because they don't have a choice. They do. They can go to jail. They can lose their benefits and stuff like that. But as somebody who was prior service, I do have empathy for people who have decided to join the service, and now you got to do what you got to do. I would like to think that I would not be a part of this, and I would that I would say nope, send me to jail. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. I could say that from the safety of my retired life right now, right here. But I just honestly, I have no clue. The fact of the matter is that they're going to be out here, and these commanders got to go, how are we going to avoid this? How are we going to avoid all the people, in Texas that we rely upon for enlisting in the National Guard, if we are being looked at as people who are stopping, who are on the opposite side of what they believe? If you're worried about recruitment, let me tell you what. These Army generals, the Army National Guard, I guarantee you, are in meetings like, we don't have a choice but to obey the orders of Greg Abbott. That is the commander-in-chief for the National Guard when you're not activated by the president. How are we going to avoid this nightmare? I'm telling you, they're not gonna. They're not going to be able to do it. They're going to see a recruitment hit unlike any other. And if not, you know where they're going to get their recruitment from? We're going to start seeing, this is all a butterfly effect, people. Like, mark my words, it's all a butterfly effect. And right now we're seeing this, and guess who's going to sign up for the Texas National Guard now? You think people who are going to be like, hey, I just want to become a better person. I'm going to join the public service. I don't want to go active duty, but I do want to, I'll join my state's National Guard, get some free college. Who do you think is going to join the National Guard after these sort of moves? Give it 2 to 3 years, and we're going to start hearing massive amounts of news about the current white supremacy problem in the United States Army. Blah, 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 blah. Watch.
By the current?
Recently, it's actually gotten a lot worse. I'd say last fall.
What a goober. Poor specialist. This guy's E4. He's probably like 20. He's probably about 22 years old, 21 years old. And he's like, yep, I gotta go up and down here, and I guess I'm gonna talk to the news.
Is when it started peaking up. We saw a staggering amount of numbers come this January, but since we closed down this area right here, we saw a dramatic decrease of migrants.
So right now, the dam that's up north, they've opened up. As you can tell, the water level is a lot higher than what we normally operate. So for our operators right now, it gives them more of an opportunity to get up and down the water as needed a lot quicker at this point. But then it adds a secondary danger with those individuals that end up wanting to cross.
So it's been pretty effective. And
there it is right there. There's another one, right? So first we have and then we act as a rescue team. Second one is they open up the dam that increases the water levels. Why? Why did they want to raise the water levels? In order for your boats to more easily get up and down the river? Is that why? Do you think they opened the dam because to make it more easy for your boats to get up and down? No, exactly. No, it is to make it more dangerous for people. Like the death, the suffering, the underwater razor wire, that is in order to cause suffering, to cause death.
And, you know, we've really made an impact so far, I believe. We're fighting hard and we keep pushing on through the thick and thin.
To those in Texas, thank you for your support. Just got to keep going along. You know, whatever gets thrown our way, we'll be ready for it down here.
Texas Military Department, Texas serving Texas. Jesus Christ. And they call themselves operators too. Whenever you hear a term like operators, please believe that they're trying to church it up.
You know, the Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders.
Here's some more. Glenn Beck, very famously known for being completely normal and level-headed, just a very normal person, was gonna let you know what's going on the border. Don't trust Scarlett Letterman. Trust Glenn Beck.
They are handing out maps. We have them. Handing out maps to people in Middle America and South America. They're handing them out with the train schedules, the stops where you'll be welcome, the maps, how to go, where to go to cross into the United States. The Red Cross, the United Nations, and Doctors Without Borders. Those are three that we can verify because we have the documentation. We have what they're handing out. This is an organized plot to collapse the United States.
So here's what's funny. Here's what's funny about shit like this. What's funny is that they'll take something that's true and then they'll like just kind of like run with it. They'll just like kind of like slide in and then boom, right into the conclusion, so that, and it's seamless. It's absolutely seamless. Like are they providing maps? Yeah, probably. Right? I don't know for sure. That maybe they should. Maybe that's fucking full of shit too. But given that the letter that we just saw Scarlett Letterman share with us, right? She has one of those. She knows that those the information that is literally just letting you know, here are your rights. Why do you think Doctors Without Borders or the Red Cross or any of those kind of places are going to hand out maps? What do you think they're for? Good night, Maneater. If he comes back and starts block him. Will do. Why do you think they're handing out maps? They're handing out maps so people don't get lost in the desert and die. They're handing out maps because asylum is a legal process. And they say, hey, here's where you should cross. Here's how you get to the United States from where you're at. Don't get lost and die in the desert. You know, it's funny because you get people like Glenn Beck and conservatives, and they're like, so you're telling me that without these maps, they would die in the desert? That means you're an enemy to America. Because I'm hoping they died in the desert and you just prevented that from happening. Like maybe they would get lost, or maybe they would get picked up by criminals who would just murder them. Like that would be way better. My Christian sensibilities, what my Lord has told me with the spirit of what I believe, is that I want these people to drown in a river or get lost in a desert or get exploited by criminals way before they get here and seek asylum, which is a legal process. I was going to talk about woke kindergarten today, but I'm going to be honest with you. I want to read up more on it. Like I said in the beginning, the woke kindergarten thing is, first of all, it's not a kindergarten. It's more like an education, more like an organization. The short of it is that a Bay Area school hired them to help them with their schools, and grades dropped. But I don't know. It just seems pretty. The whole thing seems shady. Like it sounds like an op. It sounds like like some CIA bullshit where it was like, let's make sure let's make the most ridiculous sounding thing, so that we can have news. But I'll be honest, I was gonna look more into it live, like, hey, let's just look into this, but I'm not in a research mood right now. But what I do want to show you all is the latest and greatest from the woman who broke my heart. The woman who I used to look up to, who I thought I could trust. Anna Kasparian. It's a fresh wound, but her conservative bend sure shit has not stopped at trans issues, right? Her Anna Kasparian to Ann Coulter arc. By the way, that reminds me, I'm gonna do a graphic on, it's gonna be in the style of Animorphs, and it's gonna start with Anna Kasparian to Ann Coulter, and it's gonna make me laugh. But check this out, right? Check this out.
And robbery. He allegedly attacked a loss prevention officer at a Macy's department store during an alleged robbery, and also allegedly punched and bit a Nordstrom Rack employee in November. I don't want to get ahead of myself here because I have a whole argument that I'm about to make, but let me just say this. Considering the lack of resources for migrants, considering the fact that you have a situation in which there isn't enough shelter and you have migrants sleeping outside, can we deport the migrants who are engaging in this kind of behavior and this kind of crime? Like, one of them has already gotten arrested twice for assaulting employees at retail stores. And then you have the surveillance footage of them kicking cops in the head as the cops are trying to detain another guy. What are we doing? So they get arrested and then they're let out. No bail.
So some of y'all might hear this. Some of y'all might hear that, those string of words. Not my name. Yes. Yes. Please believe there's been plenty of moments in the string of bullshit that TYT has thrown out there. By which they're more like easy, low bar, progressive stances. Kind of got them the grace that they probably didn't deserve, right? Olay has the best take on this. Oh, is there a clip about it? Because I would love to hear her takes. Olay doesn't miss. I love Olay. But the problem with this is not so much, if you are here seeking asylum and you do crimes, you should not get asylum, or whatever that may sound. It's not even that. It's the fact that you are giving air, you are giving oxygen to bullshit conservative talking points. You're giving oxygen to a story because that is what is trending for you. And this is another opportunity for Cenk and Anna to show, like, hey, we're moderates, or we have conservative takes, in order to get the likes up, in order to get the views up. Because, again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, hard left programming doesn't pay the bills. I'm sorry, it just does not pay the bills. People like Hassan Piker are exceptions. They are not the rule. What the fuck that was? And I think, this is just a guess, that they probably had a talk. They're like, what's going on? How do we grow as TYT? How do we get to the next level? And things like Cenk running for president when he knows damn well he has no chance. These are ways to get the TYT name out there, to get in the news, right? To get into the headlines. And I think that their current stances on prisons and cops and trans issues is to appeal to those centrist audiences in order to boost their numbers. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if they understood exactly who, which hand was actually feeding them, but I have a feeling it's not going to work out well for them personally. But this idea that, oh, you know, the migrants that are coming here, they're committing crimes and they're dangerous people and they need to be deported if they do crimes. And it's like, why are you giving this fucking story oxygen? The vast majority of migrants, of immigrants in general, documented and undocumented, the vast 99% of the people come here are not criminals. The immigrant community has a lower rate of crime and violent crime, definitely in gun violence, than citizens. They know that if they commit crimes like that, they have they get deported. That's why a lot of these people are targeted and exploited because of fear of deportation. Because they don't want to get involved in anything that's going to risk their stay here in the United States. So, did those people kick cops or kick cops in the head? Maybe. I mean, you won't see me giving a fuck about cops getting kicked in the head, first of all. But let's say it was something worse. Let's say it was crimes against children. Okay. You think if I was TYT and have that size of a platform, that I'm gonna take a Fox News Newsmax type of fucking headline like undocumented, well, they'll probably call them illegal aliens, child sex trafficking, blah blah blah, right? I'm gonna be like, I'm not giving that shit air, because I know that is what they want. That is not that does not represent the migrant community. That does not have anything to do with what's going on. And by her bringing this up like this, it's giving air to a conservative talking point and then signaling to all the other conservatives, hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's see what Ole had to say about this. Is this about? I did see this actually. I didn't realize this was about a related event. Actually, I want to see the rest of Anna's video, so let's put it over here.
I see the media running wild with this narrative about the migrants that beat up NYPD officers, saying that they're out because of bail reform. That is categorically false. First of all, they were charged with a violent felony in New York City, meaning that is bail eligible. The judge could set bail. Bail reform had not to do with it. The prosecutors asked for bail, and the judge, who was previously a prosecutor for 16 years, decided not to set bail, which should make you wonder why. What about this case is not being shown to the media? Like, what happened prior to whatever the migrants did? Okay? What happened? What's actually not being shown to you? Come on, y'all. Think about the fact that NYPD and police officers all across the country regularly beat up and brutalize people to arrest them every day. So what happened in this case? What were the police officers doing that's what happened, and the former prosecutor judge decided not to set bail? I see the media running wild, but this narrative.
See? There's always going to be something. I'll tell you what, if you don't know who Alurin is, Ole, Alurinati in YouTube, you are missing out. You are missing out because she's a lawyer. She's I think she's a naturalized citizen. No, she's not a citizen. She's here legally, but she is a I know she talks about how she's not even allowed to vote because she's not a full citizen, but she is a lawyer in New York, and so she takes that. She has the experience of an immigrant here who isn't even allowed to vote, but is somebody who is more than not only just educated academically, but in the dirt, like in the trenches as a defense attorney. She's out there. There's a lot of knowledge that's going to come out of from Ole. Cops are people with lives and families. Granted, they lie and cheat and ruin lives. But let's remember our common humanity, even when others fail to do that. I feel you, D. Wilson. I feel you. I couldn't help but laugh of like the string of like the shit in the middle there. like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, they piece of shits and ruin lives, and they uphold the white supremacy, the system of white supremacy, and the class traitors, and you know, black, brown, and yellow. All of them will still continue to support the system that disproportionately affects black and brown people. But don't you forget, they're people too, you know. Now you're right. Actually, was, you know, to be honest with you, just so you know, I was actually talking to my son about that. Where, you know, I use myself as an example, right? You know, my kids are pretty left, right? And as they get older and as they become like further into adulthood, because they're both adults now, as they learn more about the world, and I allow them, well, I don't allow the adults, but I raise them to be able to be, it's okay to question things, right? I try to not be dogmatic about everything, like come to your own conclusions regarding harm, right? And one of the things that I was talking to my son about, because he was like, nah, fuck cops, fuck all cops, which based, right, ACAB, but I didn't want him to miss the fact, kind of like what you're saying, D. Wilson, is I said, hey, I'm with you, right? But just remember the person versus the system. You know what I mean? Like, both of your parents, this is me talking to my kids, both of your parents served as active duty military. Active duty. One of your parents was a combatant. You know what I mean? Like, was it actual, like, combat arms military person? So who do you think has done more harm in the world, right? Who do you think has done more harm to the planet Earth? The Department of Defense or cops, right? And now we're not trying to like compare like badness here, but my point is that obviously I don't think I'm a piece of shit who doesn't deserve humanity. I don't think his mom's a piece of shit who doesn't deserve humanity. Some people might believe that, but here's what I'll tell you is the people who think that I'm a piece of shit for serving 23 years, I give them that. You'll never fucking hear me get butthurt or mad or cry defending myself. Like if I hear somebody who's like, nah, you dedicated 23 years of your life, and I don't even want to hear, I'm gonna give a straw man that doesn't work in my favor. Just put it that way. Okay, just pretend like this is somebody out there. If somebody wants to tell me your little stories about when you turned left, I don't give a fuck about it, because even when you turned left, you stayed in. You could have got at 20 and you did 23. I can make all these things myself. These are things that I kind of struggle with on my own. And a lot of these things I don't even have answers for. Like when I self-reflect and I go through it in my own head, I go, man, I couldn't even really answer that for real. These are good questions. So if somebody's out there and was like, nah, fuck you, fuck his mom, fuck everybody in the military. You know what my reply is? Bet. Nah, I feel you. Yeah, I mean, the United States has used the military just horrendous shit. Why would I demand grace from anybody who is educated on the amount of harm the military has done to this planet? You know, I am an individual and I am a human being. And and I would like grace. I would like to be treated with respect, but I don't think it is. I am obligated to it. And that's how I feel about cops. Do I think that there are individually good, air quotes, good cops? Sure, maybe. Yeah. But you know what I find? It's interesting how, and also sad how people lose their way in their compassion. I work with addicts. Everyone has a place. Everyone can find their way. If you are finding your way, if you think that you have a way to be found, many of these people don't think they do. Many of these people, even progressives, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with me being in the military. You know what I mean? Excuse me if you guys heard that burp. I don't think there's anything wrong with being in the military. I don't think, okay, I'm a cop, so what? Cops are necessary. This and that. Those aren't people who think they have a way to be found. And I don't think those people deserve any grace. One thing I will tell you is there is stories after stories. Good night, Elle. Have a good night. Thanks for don't forget y'all check out Scarlett Letterman on YouTube. Thanks for swinging by, Elle. I will tell you this much. Every time I hear a story about good cops, far too many times now, when I hear about cops who are like, you know what? There is a quota. We do racial profiling. We do protect each other. The police union is not pro-worker. The police union is class traitors that only work to protect police officers from accountability. You know what? You know who I'm hearing that shit from? I'm hearing that shit from cops who have been forced out of the force. I'm hearing that from cops who have been targeted and either forced to resign or fired, or it's never like active cops that are like, yeah, this system is broken and I'm not going to be a part of it. Like, meaning like I'm going to change it from the inside. Because that's how the blue line works. Like the good cops who are like, we're not going to do, we're not going to violate civil rights. We're not going to do this system. We're not going to enforce unethical laws, right? I'm going to call out when I see racial profiling allowed, like they did under Giuliani. Those motherfuckers ain't going to become police chief. Those people are out. You ever heard that movie Serpico? That shit was real. That's based on a true story. Like, we look at movies like Serpico and go, man, that's crazy. Like, that really happened. That's a true story. This is what happens. These people fucking get in deep and they protect their own. They are literally, not figuratively, they have tattoos, they have patches, they have nicknames. These people are literal fucking gangs. They're gangs. They're just gangs that have a monopoly of power. They are gangs with what's it called? Qualified immunity. That's what they are. They're gangs with qualified immunity. Active cops got to represent the institution. Exactly. So when I see a cop, if I see an individual cop, he's just walking around, I'm not gonna be like spit at him, like, fuck you cop, fuck you pig, like, whatever. It's just some dude. But he doesn't get my respect. He doesn't. I don't have respect for him. Anyways. Man, that was a rant. Let's see. Let me close that. Let's get back to the. Damn, that was a stun lock from hell. How long was I talking about that? Let's get back to progressive shows turning conservative.
Because it's New York City, of course. Okay, listen, I know we have a giant left-wing audience, and I love you guys.
But
please don't give in to some knee-jerk reaction to provide cover for these people. These are not people you need to provide cover for. These are people who are in the country claiming asylum. They don't have a right to be here. It is a privilege to be able to take advantage of our asylum program.
Wrong. Asylum is a legal process that you have to give people in accordance to international law and the Constitution. Like asylum is a legally protected status. It is a right, literally, actually. Not to mention that, again, going back to what I said earlier, all you're doing is giving oxygen to a conservative talking point and fear mongering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And be able to claim asylum, claim that you're here because of whatever reason. I don't know exactly which reason they gave for their asylum claim. And you get to have your case adjudicated in front.
So we're gonna have a tone of doubt now. Okay, cool.
Front of a judge. But if you're causing all sorts of chaos, and if you're assaulting police officers, like the idea that we're not even having a conversation about immediately deporting them is ridiculous. But then not only that, they get arrested and immediately released without bail because of bail reform in New York. That's insane, right?
Which we already, Olay already let us know that is bullshit.
Am I crazy? I don't know.
No, you're not crazy. You're just a conservative. Check this out. Unrelated.
In terms of the need for security, I get it. You know, look, we get crazy threats, et cetera, all the time. She's a member of Congress. She wants to feel safer. Okay. She's one of the leaders of the defund the police movement.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a little bit of irony there?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that's not. No, there's no irony there. People needing protection. People, getting Secret Service protection, people in high profile positions having security. If you think that is hypocritical and contradictory to the defund the police movement, then you are either a liar, stupid, or just ignorant to what defund the police is and you haven't bothered to look into it. Defunding the police is not, first of all, it's not about police abolition. Defunding the police has to do with reallocating funds to things that prevent crime. Because you look at places that pour millions upon hundreds of millions, sometimes billions of dollars into their police system. You look at how much money is spent in LA on their police departments. You look at how much money is spent in New York on their police departments. And yet somehow increased funding for cops does not equate to lower crime rates. Maybe because you should be putting those kinds of funds to social safety nets, mental health services, community services, things like that. Things that actually work to reduce crime. That's what defunding the police is about. It's about taking armored MRAPs and assault helicopters and unmanned aerial drones, the money that you use for that, and putting it into your community. So no, defunding the police is not contradictory to high-profile officials requiring security in an era where you have dudes beheading their dads because they like Biden.
Yes. So now look, guys, you could say full-blown irony, or you could say half irony, because yes, but she's worried that the police are abusing the citizens, and in her case, clearly she's hiring security to protect her. And if the cops acted like that, maybe she might be in favor of them.
Yeah.
But is there a sense of irony here? No protection for you, but protection for me. A little bit.
No, but
I'll come back to the others, but go ahead.
Well, that's not, again, defunding the police is not about no protection. Abolition, police abolition is not about no protection. It's about the system doesn't work and the system is harmful.
I think it's really important to be fair to her, because while she is an advocate for defunding the police, she never said that she was against hiring private security. So in a situation in which you can't rely on police, just hire private security. It only costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right, but you could just give it to your husband.
Absolutely, exactly right. Especially when you start taking police officers and stop putting them in positions that they're not trained for, right? I mean, we've heard this ad nauseum where you have like cops showing up to places that are like literal mental health crises, and what do they have? They have a couple seminars under their belt. They have They have some classes they had to take to like learn how to deal with mental health crisis, but that doesn't replace mental health professionals, you know? And yeah, exactly. You know, reallocating funds can enhance policing. Absolutely.
Sure, that's true. We
Okay,
can do that.
so now it sounds like.
So those are two examples from TYT, just to kind of like set us up for this here. And this is all regarding the segment regarding you know, supposed lefty, progressive, whatever words you want to call it, platforms, and then coming in over time, trying to do this whole like fair and balanced shit, adding just a little bit, sprinkling a little bit more conservative bullshit, to where it's just completely. And here we have the Rising, right? Which, you know, has you know, leftists like Brianna Joy Gray on it, but then also has this. This is a video that came up a couple days ago, where it looks like the host, the anchor of the show Rising on the Hill TV, going in on a 2v1 regarding how pro-life activists are unfairly targeted. It's
disturbing news, as a group of pro-life activists from Nashville were recently found guilty in federal court under the FACE Act for quietly and peacefully protesting outside a local abortion clinic. Here's a little snippet of that protest from March of 2021.
Okay, so this snippet is way too fucking long, and it's actually extremely cringe, right? So let's see. That's oh wow, it's only a minute, but it's literally the longest minute of my life. I was like, how long is this gonna go? And it's a hymn. It's just them sitting in the hallways. Oh, by the way, check this out right here. Where is she sitting? Where is she sitting? She's sitting in front of a doorway. Just remember that. Take note. But a full minute of them singing like church songs.
The FACE, or Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, makes it illegal to block access to abortion clinics.
It sure does.
The protesters each face up to 11 years in jail, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of up to $260,000. A little more than a year ago, one of the protesters was arrested in a chilling appearance by the FBI. Watch.
But if you're not going to let me, then I'll just...
No, I want to know why you were banging on my door with a gun. You're not going to tell me anything?
I tried.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did not try.
God, that voice, dude. God, that voice is so fucking jarring. So what? So you gotta ask yourself a question too. Is like, what is the point of this clip here? We don't know what happened before it. The FBI agent, you know, says I tried to tell you, so they're leaving, and all we have is her saying, "No, you didn't try." Like, what is the point of this? Like they showed up, they were gonna try, but she fought for her rights, and then they end up, you know, they had to leave with the tail between their legs.
Some were quick to point out the seemingly hypocritical nature of arresting peaceful protesters, with how far more violent some activists were treated if their causes were more politically aligned with the powers that be. The Daily Wire's Matt Walsh posted a quote from the U.S. attorney on the case, who said, quote, "Something is not peaceful if laws are broken." Walsh.
This anchor literally quotes Matt Walsh as a sign of what people are feeling about this. Matt Walsh
said this was an example of, quote, full-on Soviet-style corruption and persecution. Here now to discuss this story further is senior reporter at the Daily Signal, Mary Margaret Olahan. So Mary Margaret, walk us a little bit through this case. This is, of course, also not the first time that a pro-lifer has been arrested by the Biden DOJ. You covered the Mark Houck case previously. He ended up being acquitted, but these individuals were found guilty of violating the FACE Act. Tell us a little bit about the protest and what the feds were alleging they did wrong.
Well, it's great to be here, Amber. And this incident is one of a number of incidents that the DOJ is targeting as crimes violating the FACE Act. And what happened here was these pro-life activists went to an abortion clinic prepared to go and talk to women and tell them why they don't think they should abort their babies.
By the way, easily interpreted or construed as intimidation. These are women who have decided to make a choice about their bodies that is very often emotionally heavy. They've probably done a lot of crying and thinking about it. And they have to then be expected to move through this crowd of people yelling at them, showing them pictures. Yeah, I would say that absolutely counts as obstructing people trying to enter a clinic, 100%.
Keep in mind, these pro-life activists believe that abortion is the murder of an unborn child. So that's good context to have here.
Oh,
so they go to the
just in case you didn't know that. Yeah.
Abortion clinic, they pray outside, they sing, they talk to the people that are going in and out. And unfortunately, this is a violation of the Freedom of Access to Abortion Clinic Clinic Entrances Act. And the Biden Department of Justice has specifically said that they're enforcing this act as a response to the overturn of Roe v. Wade. And we have DOJ officials on the record saying that. So after Roe was overturned, we saw multiple different people be arrested in front of their children at gunpoint and brought in and charged with violations of the FACE Act. And this is another example of that. Now, you're right, Amber, people are comparing this to the other different protests around the country. For example, the Black Lives Matter protest involving the death of George Floyd, where many of these people who committed violent crimes were allowed to go free, whereas we see these pro-lifers looking at 11 years in prison.
So 11 years sounds, pretty nice compared to the 20 years that the Stop Cop City protesters are facing in Atlanta. 21 were arrested, including those that were there as observers of the protest to see that the law was observed.
So this is what I mean about the 2v1 right here. So we have the main anchor who's running cover for pro-lifers who are whose literal purpose is to harass women, people who are there to get abortions. Then you have the other conservative pro-lifer on here. And you have the one the one who is also, in this is what I mean about the conservative bend of these progressive shows. You do have Brianna Joy Gray and you do have Jessica Burbank, who are both, lefties, but has to sit here and do a 2v1 regarding, the right to people's reproductive rights and whether or not, forming a prayer circle in front of the doors and harassing people as they come in is considered obstruction or not.
They were among the 61 that were arrested and are now facing a penalty of 20 years. It sounds to me like the law is applied pretty evenly. I just can't see how you would say that those being charged for blocking entrance to the abortion clinic, a direct violation of the law, is somehow the same as BLM protesters who are in the streets. Are you aware of occasions where laws were broken and individuals were not arrested?
Well, I think it's important to look at the context here. If you look at what they actually did, and there's a really great video, my friend Greg Price tweeted it, and it shows what happened at this so-called protest. These pro-lifers went and were singing and praying outside of an abortion clinic where babies' lives are being ended. Now, you can agree or disagree that abortion is wrong, but you can look at that video and see they are praying and singing for the lives of babies. So it's a little funny to compare these two incidents and say that perhaps these people deserve 11 years in prison for what they did in that moment.
Yeah, I mean,
14,000 people were arrested since June 22nd, 2020 in relation to BLM protests across 49 cities. It sounds like, the law was applied pretty evenly. It doesn't seem like a fair comparison to me.
Amber, I didn't want to take that away from if you were going to go.
Oh, yes, thank you. I was going to go. So, I mean, I think the comparison would have to be peaceful protest to peaceful protest, right? Because this objectively was a peaceful protest. You can look at the video, you can see them literally just singing and saying prayer. Compared to the BLM people, few who were arrested, a lot of them were not. A lot of them continue to walk free, facing.
So 14,000 people arrested, and we're just gonna say right on the other side of that, few were arrested. This is the conservative grift. It's the conservative, like, I'm just gonna say a thing. I'm not gonna give data. I'm just gonna make a claim that agrees to the people, like, you know, and we'll use words like that can't really be disproven, like few or hardly anyone, or, you know, things like that. These weasel words that you can't really pin somebody down on, because even if you showed them that 14,000 people were arrested, you know, they might say, yeah, well, I mean, how many people were marching? How many people should have been awarded? That's what I meant, that, like, few of them, like 14,000 wasn't enough. Like, whatever they want to say. Or they'll make a claim like, yeah, but how many of them got sentencing? Well, do you know the answer to that? Are you just asking the question and assuming that the number is low? They don't know.
Far shorter sentences for actually either engaging in violence against police officers, breaking property, looting, rioting. So I think that's
that's right, because that's just the way the law goes. There are laws that have more harsher sentences than others. Vandalism, for example, doesn't come at as big a sentencing as something like, you know, preventing access to healthcare. I don't know. I think it kind of makes sense.
Direct comparison, you know, you'd have to make a direct comparison of peaceful to peaceful in order for those sentences to be comparable. But what I wanted to ask you, Mary Margaret, as well, is that the FACE Act also covers places of religious worship. And in the overturning of Roe v. Wade, there were multiple Catholic churches, hundreds actually, that were vandalized. And there were also cases where protesters disrupted Catholic masses right here in Washington, D.C. As far as I know, those people have not been arrested or charged. Is that correct?
No, and this is really important context as well. In the aftermath of the Dobbs leak, so in May of, I believe, 2022, we have seen hundreds of attacks on pro-life pregnancy centers and churches, which are both protected by the FACE Act as well. Now, as a reporter that covers this, I have, for 2 years now, I guess, been reaching out to the Department of Justice and saying, what happened to these criminals? Like, have you prosecuted any of them with the FACE Act? And as of 2 days ago, I found out that the DOJ has only charged 5 pro-abortion individuals with attacking pregnancy centers under the FACE Act. So that's 5 individuals out of 88 attacks. Meanwhile, they have not charged a single individual with FACE Act charges for their attacks on Catholic churches. And there's been over 200 since the Dobbs leak. So with that context, I think when we look at how the DOJ is using the FACE Act, it is very clear that they're only using it to charge pro-abortion or to charge pro-life activists. And keep in mind, the pro-life activists being charged were singing and praying outside of abortion clinics, whereas the pro-abortion individuals who have not been charged firebombed abortion or pregnancy centers, firebombed churches, Molotov cocktails, smashing windows, writing if.
This is what I'm talking about. This is that weaselly kind of shit right there. Are you saying that somebody got caught firebombing a church and was not sentenced? Is that her claim? I don't even need to look it up to know she's full of shit, or that she's being deceptive in how she's presenting the information. Maybe it's true that somebody who firebombed the church didn't go to jail because they weren't caught is the only way that would make any sense. They didn't catch who did it. It is a complete, like, piece of shit, weaselly ass move to say, and these churches were firebombed and nobody was arrested, as if they caught the people who did the firebombing and they didn't press charges. Get the fuck out of here.
Abortion isn't safe, neither are you. So that discrepancy is, I think, what has a lot of conservatives not and middle of the road Americans very upset about what's going on here.
So the FACE Act was passed under Bill Clinton. It was a response to death threats, bomb threats, attacks on abortion clinics across the country by pro-life individuals. That's how this law came into place. You know, when I think about people blocking entry to a clinic where women, many pregnant women, are receiving health care, I get a little worried. I think it's a good part of a free society that if someone needs to and wants to go to the doctor, that they should be able to. And so in a case where someone's blocking potentially a woman who needs health care for her baby's life, right? These are pro-life protesters. They care about the baby's life. They were praying for it. Accessing that health care seems pretty important for the baby's life. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the side of if someone wants to access a healthcare clinic and there are people preventing them, you know, there should be something done about that. And when I consider, you know, access to healthcare facilities, all in all, we've had this conversation a lot with what's going on in Israel and.
I like her. I like her cadence. I like how like straight up like she doesn't miss a beat. I hope she has a channel. I'm gonna start trying to find her.
Palestine, and a lot of people across the globe seem to be on the side of people should be able to access healthcare facilities when they want to. And I'm just going to quickly go back to that peaceful protest comparison. Many of the arrests during BLM were because people violated the curfews that were set just hours before they were outside. And so, of course, there were arrests for peaceful protests. But I think this one seems to be specifically about accessing the healthcare clinic. Are you worried at all about moms that were pregnant and their babies not being able to get health care if their clinic where they, you know, get that health care is blocked entrance of?
Well, I would agree with you, except that unfortunately, abortion clinics in the United States don't provide care for babies.
Well, nobody said it's about care for babies. It's about care for pregnant women. It's about care for women. It's about care for people with uteruses, really. And that statement would definitely fucking make them lose their mind. But so what she's about to go on a string of literal lies. Watch this.
Exist to abort babies or offer patients transgender care, as the Planned Parenthood clinics would say. So they offer hormones to young people, or they offer abortions
just quickly, this was not
so she's going to push back and say that it wasn't a Planned Parenthood, to which she won't have any answer except more baseless claims. But understand that what she said regarding Planned Parenthood and other abortion clinics, like it is a bold-faced lie. It is literally, I just said a thing and I made it up. The idea that even if it was Planned Parenthood, that all they do is abortions and transgender care. First of all, if that is all they did, awesome, because it's needed, and it's a healthcare. You know, there's dentists only do teeth, right? Like if this was a specialized center that only dealt with these sort of things it was hard to get care for, I would be here for it. But even still, it's a lie. It is an absolute lie. Lots of people, they get STD tests there. They get pap smears done there. They get cervical cancer treatments. They get breast cancer checkups, you know, to see if you have it or not. Like they have all kinds of healthcare. This is like a reproductive health center. That's what it is. And they've added transgender kids healthcare because it is a required. It's a necessary thing, to where a lot of these places are not offering the care, so they're gonna provide it, and I think that's awesome.
Planned Parenthood. This was Mount Juliet's, which is a family care clinic. They do more than abortions. It was not a Planned Parenthood.
Well, they advertise that they do more than abortions, but if you talk to the women that go there, people go there to get an abortion.
You see how she didn't really. If you talk to the women who go there, all of the women, you talk to all of the women that go there, they just say things. They just say things and fucking lie.
So I think this is often misinformation that we hear, that abortion clinics offer care for mothers and babies. Unfortunately, they do not. And the women that go in there are usually offered only one option, which is abortion, or they're given more information on obtaining abortion pills. And so this really is misinformation that is spread about abortion clinics, that they offer care to mothers and babies. And, a woman going into an abortion clinic is going to be, the abortion clinic is going to seek to.
So she pretty much gives it a last word there, and then it pretty much just ends there. This is supposedly going to be the kinds of people that will say that they're progressive, or they're this or they're that. But honestly, I'm finding more and more of these people out here talking about just they're bullshitting. They're just looking to get paid. They're looking to get paid. That's all they're doing. They're not doing it for the love of anything else but money. And it's sad. We're seeing it from TYT. We're seeing it from the Hill. There's another content creator who absolutely was a Bernie bro. Fuck, what's his name? Somebody Brianna Joyger was super cool with. God, what's his name? I can't remember. Sam Cedar always goes in on him, and I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, he was another dude. Bernie bro, leftist, capitalism is bad, and now he's a fucking Fox News frequent guest. What it is this is you can't expect to be a leftist and make it. You're not gonna make it big, because a lot of your own personal principles. Jimmy Dore, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Exactly. Jimmy Dore, you know what I mean? Like, backing libertarian, ANCAPs and just spending the entire, after being done with Bernie, spending the whole rest of his career espousing conservative values. It's just fucking wild. Literally quoting, saying he would rather Trump. Like, not saying, which I also think is silly, but definitely arguable. Backing things like Trump and Biden are the same. Okay, that's more of a defensible position. But it's saying that Trump was better. I'm like, okay, you're wild. So it's really, I don't know, maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Like, maybe they're just bad people. That's kind of how I feel about Anna. I think while TYT is making the move to make money, I think what we're seeing is their real selves come out. That's what I think. All that said, ladies and gentlemen, MBs, that's the end of the show. I'm Robo. This is Left Face TV. Speaking of capitalism, trying to make money, the only way that I'm going to be able to supplement my income is through y'all's help. If you like what you see, don't forget to just like, follow, share. When this video goes live on YouTube, just give a like, give a share, make a comment. If you're here and you support, that really is awesome. Whether you make monetary donations or not is irrelevant to me. Just being here, being a part of the watch time, that's all support. And I want to tell you, I appreciate it. If you guys end up looking into HelloFresh and you like it, I'm not bullshitting. I actually do use HelloFresh. That's the only reason why I decided to join the campaign. Check out the code and give it a try. If you use the code, you will get free breakfast items for as long as your subscription is active. So that's a little something, and it supports the channel. I will be live tomorrow, sometime around between 8 and 9 o'clock. And if you show up, I'll see you then. Take care. Love you all. Take care of each other, but don't forget to take care of yourself. I'm out.